in Allah. So, for the first one, about our responsibility towards the earth. In these ayahs, Allah says that He put humans as a khalifa or a steward on the earth. So this means that we have certain responsibilities towards it which we have to fulfill. So how do we fulfill these responsibilities? Well, we don't just fulfill them by only doing huge things like leading a revolutionary environmentalist movement. No, we can start by taking care of the small things, the everyday things, the little things. So, some examples of how we can fulfill this responsibility, which I can think of, are when we're washing our hands, turn the tap off and only turn it back on again when we put our hands under it. That way, we're saving water. The same thing goes for when we're brushing our teeth. Turn the tap off and then turn it on when you only need water. The same thing for when we're in the shower. Don't take too long enjoying your shower, try to conserve the water. If you're doing yard work and you must remove a plant, be sure to replace it by planting another plant somewhere else. Use reusable materials as much as possible. Avoid plastic. Grab reusable bags for your parents when they're going grocery shopping so that they're reminded to use those instead of plastic. Whenever it's possible, get some exercise and walk or bike instead of using a car. And the last one, which I can think of, but there's certainly many, many more things which you can do, is to conserve energy by adjusting your clothing. So wear warm clothing or cold clothing instead of so that we can reduce reduce how much we depend on our heating and cooling. Now, for the second lesson, which is about having the importance of having an unwavering trust in Allah. So we see in these ayahs that the angels questioned Allah. They said, "Are you going to put someone on the earth who will do all these bad stuff?" And Allah responded to them by saying, "Indeed, I know what you do not know." So Allah wants us to see this conversation because it's something which is really relevant to our lives. While the angels are very obedient and they never question Allah, we have a lot of questions, right? And this conversation is important to us because of that. The point which I focus on in these ayahs is that Allah's knowledge is much greater than ours. Even when we don't understand why something is happening in our life or around us, we need to have total and utter faith and trust in Allah because we don't have the knowledge which He has. This is especially relevant when we perceive things to be wrong or to going against us. For example, when we're making loads and loads of dua for something and our duas don't come true, or when we don't understand why we're going through a hardship, or if we look around us and we see that there's so much suffering in the world. All of these things happen and we wonder why. In these times of uncertainty, we need to remember that Allah is Al-Alim. The ayah says that He is Al-Alim, which means the all-aware. So, even if something seems really bad at the surface, we don't know about the beautiful outcome which Allah has planned for us out of that rough patch. So, if you take the example of a beautiful diamond, coals only become diamonds after going through extreme pressure. So, surely, if we are ever going through a hardship, we will emerge a stronger and better person too. Allah knows that we too will become diamonds after enduring whatever hardship we are going through. All we need to do during those rough times is remember that Allah is Al-Alim, the all-knowing, and Ar-Rahman, the most merciful, and therefore He will not leave us alone. So, once we have the belief that Allah will not abandon us, then we can have tawakkul or trust on His plans and become content with whatever comes on our way, and that way we can become even closer to Him. So just to recap, the two lessons which I learned from these ayahs is that we have a responsibility toward the earth and that it's really important to have an unwavering trust in Allah. Thank you.
Jazakallah khairan, Raahima, for your recitation and for your reflection on the ayat. Alhamdulillah. I think one or two students maybe